Is that it? Are we going? Are we cooking? Are things firing on all cylinders? Please tell me they are. Please tell me they are. Always having trouble doing this in some way, shape, or fashion. Ay, ay, ay. Never easy, is it? There we go. We're up and running. We're cooking. We got some fire. Moving along. Anyway, it's Monday. Big Monday. Ay, ay, ay. Never easy, is it? Well, we're on there. We'll monitor it. Or we will monitor it, but it's Monday. We got fights this week. Maybe this thing already started, but we're clicking. The timer is going. Things are in motion. Let's get it popping right now, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in, hopping on. Let's enjoy this one. Make it a good Monday. Get some stuff going. Get some news out there because, of course, you see it right on your screen, right there. The big news of today, Isaac Dogarian, released by the UFC last weekend, or this past Saturday, actually. Defeated by Yadier Davaye via submission, of course. And per Ariel Helwani, they have now released Isaac Dogarian. Now, the stated reason is because of the loss. This guy moves now to 3-2 in the UFC. His 2 losses, of course, to Yadier Davaye this past Saturday, and prior to that, against Christian Rodriguez, who is one tough cookie himself. So we'll wait for a couple more people maybe to pop in here. We'll see what happens. If not, we'll just keep rolling right along because that's what we do here. That is what we do here. We're going to move along regardless whether we got an audience or not. Whether we got the audience or not. Size a couple things up properly. That looks good over there. Says the something or other's not right, but you know what? I don't really care. It seems to be working just fine. Seems to be running properly-ish. We'll see. But if anybody's out there, drop something in the chat for me. We'll talk, chat it up while I buy a little bit of time. Trying to get running here. Trying to get up and running. Lower than recommended bitrate. Is it really that bad? Should I pull it up and see how bad we're doing? I'm no professional here. Something in the chat for me. We'll talk, chat it up while I buy a little bit of time. It looks fine on my end. Upon further review, looks perfectly fine. Looks perfectly fine. Shout out to Herb Dean and Mark Smith for improperly using replay. Thankfully for us, Waldo Cortez Acosta came out the other side with a win, but the officiating in that one, absolutely egregious. That's funny. I can super chat myself somehow. That is hilarious. Still trying to figure this out. Anyway, we're gonna keep cooking. First up on the deck is, of course, like I mentioned, it is UFC Vegas 111 Fight Week, Saturday, November 8th. Of course, we got another early-ish time slot for the card. Not too bad there. I like this card a little bit better. Higher action potential than this past weekend. I think this past weekend's card was so-so. Had some good submissions. Other than that, not a lot of action. A couple boring fights that put me to sleep. But we've got some decent action potential here. Of course, Jackson McVeigh and Robert Valentin. That one could potentially be pretty scrappy, pretty fun to open up the night. Miles Johns, Daniel Marcos, Josh Hokett. He's been making a name for himself. Taking on Gimenez. I don't really know much about him, to be honest, but Adrian Yanez and Quinones, that could be pretty darn good as well. Hyder Emil probably going to just outmuscle Jamal Emmers there. Marco Tulio, Christian Leroy Duncan. That's a good fight at middleweight, right outside the rankings. Ricky Simone, Raoni Barcelos. A good old battle of the unks in the 135-pound division. And then I believe Jesus Padilla, I could be wrong there, and Ismail Bonfim, the Bonfim brothers, going back-to-back on this card. Can they pull off the 2 wins here? I'm not so sure Gabriel can get to Randy Brown, but he's going to have to bull rush him and definitely get that into the grappling realm if he's looking for a victory. Matt Schnell versus Morales. Interesting co-main event there. Not sure why it's in the co-main event spot when Salikov and Uros Medic are sitting right there. That's going to be a fun all-action fight. While it lasted, of course, Salikov, the older man. Uros Medic, not too young himself any longer, but I think they're going to put on a heck of a fight there. The ladies' fights on the prelims, they are what they are. Tisha Torres, Denise Gomes. I mean, speed versus power maybe. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But for now, we're going to get back into the betting side of things. Before we do that, before we do all of that, we'll wait another minute or two, see if anybody pops on through, shows up for us. We are public, we are live. But boy, oh boy, are we moving along. Let me get this up and running. I'm going to record this while we do it, see if we can get this to work. There we go, that's going. But anybody out there lurking, let me know what's going on. Hope you're having a great day to get the new week started off on the right foot. But for now, we'll get right into it. We'll start talking about this. Clear the throat, clear the cobwebs. So, of course, this past weekend at UFC Vegas 110, we had Isaac Dolgarian alleged to have potentially, maybe, possibly fixed a fight, or at least thrown the fight, or some kind of injury sickness was leaked out to the public. Many are alleging that Isaac Dolgarian himself has been implicated in the crime, but we do not know yet what the full truth of the matter is. As it turns out, the UFC has now released Isaac Dolgarian, claiming that he has gone 3-2 in the promotion. They no longer need his services. There are rumors circulating that he signed a new bout agreement, for a new contract, a couple of fights. This has now been voided, and the UFC has officially released Isaac Dolgarian, who has been caught up in all of this betting scandal. Of course, the guy who previously trained with James Krause, who was involved in the last huge betting scandal a couple years ago to close out the year of 2022. Of course, the line moved on Saturday evening right before the fight kicked off. Of course, as the fight week wore on, we had some ups and some downs, some ebbs and some flows, but look at this crazy line jump there in the Devalle fight. There he was, and then Devalle by first round finish, in which Devalle submitted Isaac Dolgarian. First round, 850 was the plus money on that one. It dove straight off a cliff just moments before the fight was to take place. Absolute insanity ensued. 90 minutes before the fight, median odds have moved from Dolgarian -232 to -188 per Aaron Bronstetter. Of course, there were rumors circulating before that fight. Nothing confirmed, obviously, but I'm hearing that there's something going on with Dolgarian versus Del Valle. Not sure if concerns are about a fix or an injury. Friend who works for Hard Rock said they got 5 very large bets from different people on Del Valle round 1 finish. And guess what happened? It was a round 1 finish in which Isaac Dolgarian shot in for a takedown. This guy is a great prospect, great wrestler. Didn't do anything with it. The activity was flagged. And then they proceeded to return all the money to the people who bet on the fight. That's not very common whatsoever. Of course, these betting leagues and these betting associations do not want to be nice to the people, and yet they still turned that money back out to the customers because something fishy was going on. Michael Chiesa said it was an F- performance. Absolute trash. He fought like an amateur. We've already discussed this. Daniel Cormier on the broadcast calling out Dolgarian said, what the heck is this guy doing? He's looked so dominant in the grappling up to this point in the UFC. He's 3-1, looked really, really solid. All of a sudden, this guy just can't compete, can't wrestle anymore. Dude forgot how to wrestle somehow. I highly doubt that's true. Of course, we all saw this one as well. Dolgarian was allegedly on the last fight of his contract. He trained at you-know-what gym, Glory MMA. Dolgarian trained under you-know-who, James Krause, of course. Dolgarian tells on a podcast on Fight Week, fighters should get a percentage off of any bets that are made and placed on him. Dolgarian then suffers the biggest late line move since the you-know-which fight, that Derek Minner fight. Absolute cinema. Of course, I already said it, the jokes, the memes, they all write themselves. the Caesar Sportbook, William Hill, they all started returning the money. Any of those payouts, they returned to the paying customers. Dolgarian, it comes out later after the fact. We don't pay attention to this stuff because who's thinking about this? Who wants these fights to be fixed? Nobody does. Maybe it isn't fixed. Maybe it's this larger conspiracy. We're going to get into that in just a second. But did the UFC have anything to do with this? Maybe they did. I mean, listen to Isaac Dolgarian here again. Take a listen for yourself. Assess this for yourself.
Hey, I said don't bet on me unless you're paying me some percentage. I'm doing all the work. That's how I feel about it. You know what I mean? Like, I work my ass off every day. You know, I'm trying to support a family with this, and I think they should put some type of clause, like 3 or 5% of what you make goes to the fighter.
This guy, all he's talking about is the money. All he wants is the money. This is all this guy can think about. He's always thinking about betting. Of course, he comes from the James Krause lineage, involved in the scandal a little bit over there. Now it's all come full circle. Isaac Dolgarian is likely going to be implicated in some way. Now, did he fix the fight? Did he throw the fight? Is it going that far? Can we say that? Can we confirm that as of this point? No. But the UFC releasing Isaac Dolgarian is essentially them washing their hands of this whole situation. They are saying, we don't have anything to do with this. We're just going to release this guy. We want to avoid all the trouble that comes along with him. That is not the way to address this. This leads me to believe that the UFC may be involved in this entire thing, which gets deeper and deeper as the days roll on. Here's an article, Ben Folks, MMA Uncrowned, Isaac Dolgarian cut by UFC following suspicious loss to Yadier Devaya at UFC Vegas 110. Isaac Dolgarian was released from the UFC following his first round submission loss to Yadier Devaya at Saturday's UFC Fight Night event in Las Vegas. Dolgarian came into the featherweight bout as the betting favorite, but tapped out to a rear naked choke in a fight that many onlookers deemed suspicious. The fight took place under a cloud of rumors regarding possible strange betting activity when Dolgarian suddenly dropped from a minus 250 favorite to a minus 154 favorite just prior to the fight, according to data collected from bestfightodds.com. The bout was apparently questionable enough that several online sportsbooks, including Caesar Sportsbook, said they would refund bets that users placed on Dolgarian to win. Dolgarian, who was 7-1, headed into Saturday's fight looking like a really solid wrestling prospect, mounted little resistance against Devaya after an initial takedown attempt. Faked the takedown attempt, in my opinion, but just absolute utter insanity. His efforts to defend against the rear naked choke were thoroughly lambasted by UFC commentator and fighter Michael Chiesa and Daniel Cormier on the call, who exorciated Dolgarian, wrong word there. Come on, guys. Dolgarian on the ESPN broadcast. I'm not that smart. I've got to be honest there. It was an F- performance. We've already been over that. This is not the first time the rumors of suspicious betting line movement have accompanied a UFC undercard bout. UFC featherweight Derek Minner was cut by the UFC in 2022 following a TKO loss to Shailin Norden-Becky. That was also accompanied by sudden late movement in the betting odds. That incident later come under investigation, with both Minner and his coach James Krause earning suspensions from the Nevada State Athletic Commission. Prior to that, South Korean fighter Tai Hyun Bang was handed a 10-month prison sentence after accepting a bribe to lose a UFC prelim bout to Leo Kuntz at an event in Seoul. In that instance, Bang was reportedly warned by UFC officials after the suspicious betting line movement was spotted. He ended up winning the fight via split decision, but was sentenced along with 3 others involved in the scheme. Could we be heading that way for Isaac Dolgarian, or is this the UFC severing all ties towards or in linkage with this? Are they just cutting ties? Are they trying to wash away that blame and wash their hands of this entirely? That might be what's going on here. David Onama also, there's been claims that he might have been in on something like this because of his lackluster performance against Steve Garcia. In my opinion, I believe that Steve Garcia is that good. David Onama was not up to standard, but it calls into question everything. It calls into question every single fight. There's rumors out there circulating that the FBI is investigating Jason Herzog and over 100 other fights the UFC taken up to this point. Of course, again, you look at Isaac Dolgarian's record, absolutely dominating his opponents all the way through first round. I mean, these are all finishes that he's getting ground and pound, looking absolutely outstanding on the ground, and then all of a sudden you just fall right into this guy's submission. You were the favorite. You're supposed to beat this guy, and of course, sometimes the underdogs get the upsets. We know how this works. It's the fight game. Anything can happen, but this is just absolute insanity. Doesn't make any sense. Here's some back and forth going on. Harry Mack, of course, he's out there saying some stuff. Feds are moving to audit Jason Herzog fights. He's leaking Chael Sonnen's phone number. Not sure what exactly to believe in this whole situation, but wow. I mean, somebody brought this up. That Yahya versus Nguyen fight back in UFC Saudi Arabia, I believe, early this year. He got knocked down. Yahya did 12 times in that fight. It seemed like Jason Herzog, this is all just kind of a joke, but it just is very suspicious. The issue isn't that he's a bad ref. The issue is that he's very bad at specific times, like when his friends want to cash the over 1.5 rounds on the Yahya versus Nguyen. He let him get dropped 12 times, nearly knocked out multiple times in that fight. Very suspicious stuff. I likely believe this doesn't really add any value to it, but it's the conversations that are now starting to spring up about this. That's the problem that this is bringing about. These type of conversations are going to continue to be had because they can be had in partial seriousness. You see this, you hear this guy, Vampiric Legs, he's reading this out, and it goes just like that. It sounds like a joke at first, but then you start thinking about it and you're like, yeah, I mean, Yahya should have been taken out multiple times in that fight. Herzog should have stopped it multiple times. Just absolute insanity here. So Isaac Dogarian's been cut. I suspect the UFC has more to do with this than initially begs any kind of questioning from the fans. Everybody attacked Isaac Dogarian. I think that it's likely that he leaked out that information about an injury or sickness. I was hearing rumors about it the day before. I didn't think anything of it. I feel like the UFC knew about something. They seem to always drop the ball when it comes to this stuff. How do the fans, how does Twitter, how does Instagram always catch wind of this stuff, and yet the UFC seems to not mention it, not bring it up, pretend it doesn't exist? I think that more blame likely lies on the UFC here than anybody else. You guys let me know what you think about this in the comments down below, because this is about to get blown wide open. Ariel Helwani said he's got some big news dropping later today, 1 o'clock Eastern time, November 3rd. We'll see what happens. We'll see what Ariel's got to say. Maybe nothing, maybe something. I'm very excited to see what happens because this thing could blow wide open. This sport is becoming more and more of a joke as the days pass on, as social media and technology catches up with the fight game and the corruption of the fight and combat sports business. Again, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. I'm really excited to see what happens here. This is going to get crazy, create a lot of controversy, create a lot of content for me to cover. So I'll see you guys next fucking time. All right. Matua. What's up? I wish I could show your chats up here, but I see them. Good morning, my friend. We getting in some good hate today. Hell yeah, this card is rather awesome, though. McVeigh and Valentin might be the only dud. You think that one's going to be a dud? Excellent rebrand. I think so, too. I'm always getting called out for being quite the pessimist. We'll pull up that card for a minute, Matua. I think the McVeigh-Valentin card could actually be pretty scrappy, and those guys, they go for the finish. I don't know how good they are. Not very good in my opinion, but we'll have to wait and see. But if Matua, you're still hanging out here, yeah, this one I do think is a bit better than this last weekend's card in terms of the all-action potential. I think it's pretty solid. I think it's pretty good. The ladies' fights I could do without. Ricky Simone, Raoni Barcelos might get fun, might get scrappy, might move pretty quickly, but Christian Leroy Duncan, Marco Tulio, I'm looking forward to that one. The technician ability from Duncan and the marauder status of Tulio, can he get it done? We'll see. The Bonfim brothers back-to-back here. Salikov, Medic, that one's going to be good. Matt Schnell, Morales, I don't know how that one's going to go exactly, to be fair, but Miles Johns, Daniel Marcos, that'll get fun, scrappy. I mean, we got some scrappy prelims between some bantamweights. It's going to have some fun here. So, Matua, let me know what else you're thinking about that card, because it's looking pretty good in my opinion. Pretty darn good in my opinion. We'll take a break here for a second, let some chats roll in, and then I'll rattle off another one so we can post some more videos. Make use of our time, not waste a moment. Capitalize on every little bit of time that I have left in the day. Matua, you still lurking out there? Let me know what's going on. Hope you're doing well, brother. Hope you're doing well. Well, we'll wait another second. But I mean, boys, let me know what's going on, because we got some more crazy stuff going down. We got more and more crazy stuff going down. It just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. None of these MMA outlets are covering this like we are. Of course, we hate and pick apart and dissect and criticize everything, no matter how good, bad, or ugly it is. We get on top of it all. We get on top of it all. Hopefully these recordings come out right. Last time I did the recordings, they turned out very ugly. Sounded terrible. Sounded terrible, boys. So maybe I need to bump it up a little bit. How's that? Is that sounding better? I don't know. You guys let me know. Am I peaking? Does it stop at a certain volume level? That's what I need to know. Regardless, we'll try to move right along. Check 1, 2. It's peaking a little bit. Check, check, check. We'll drop it a little bit. Just turn the volume up if I sound low. We'll play it that way. But we'll get right into the next thing here. Set up this recording. We'll knock out another one. See if anybody else jumps in here, has some fun. Let's chat some shit. I welcome all the trolls and everybody else in between. So, Ali Abdelaziz, otherwise known as Ali fuck me, man. I can't talk. Let's take a timeout there. Timeout on the play. Ali Abdelaziz, owner and manager of Dominance MMA and the manager of many former world champions and champions alike in the UFC, in MMA. Lots of very good fighters fall under this guy's banner. The courts are now ordering this man to turn in any information regarding UFC negotiations. Yeah, that's right. This guy is under order by the courts to turn in any documents regarding this antitrust lawsuit that is going through the courts right now. Despite initially refusing to provide these records, the court rejected Dominance MMA's objection and ordered Ali Abdelaziz to comply with documenting production under set deadlines. This is getting absolutely wild. Ali Abdelaziz might just be fucking cooked here, boys. This might be the end of Dominance MMA. Ali Abdelaziz, the connections to everything. What's going on? We're going to get into it right freaking now. This is getting wild. Wild stuff here. Not only are they fixing fights potentially in the UFC, but we've also got corruption and collusion going on between the managers and between the UFC themselves, the fighters, everybody in between. My goodness, guys, this is absolutely insanity. Not only did Dominance MMA said they could not and would not provide these documents earlier this year, but now the court has said basically that you need to turn that shit in right now. No more excuses. No more biding your time. You need that to turn in right now. Get something before us right now. They've got nearly just over a month here to turn in everything that they can. And in short, Dominance MMA said this: we're too small, too busy, can't legally release this stuff. It's against this, and the other. The court said, too bad. We've got an antitrust lawsuit going on here. We need this information now. Everything that you have, text messages, emails, everything in between needs to come to us right now. We may just see the biggest MMA management group get absolutely and utterly exposed for their fraudulency and their corruption. Ali Abdelaziz has always been linked to some shady business, and this may be his undoing. This changes absolutely everything. This lawsuit isn't just about fighter pay. It may potentially expose if the UFC maintains control over fighters through their management. Absolutely blowing the doors off this guy. Ali Abdelaziz, president and founder of Dominance MMA. Ali has been managing top fighters for the past couple of decades now. He has a plethora of contacts throughout the industry and has formed some amazing relationships through his journey. If Ali isn't with his family or negotiating contracts, huh? Well, those negotiations are getting turned right over to the courts. You'll find him on the mats rolling with his clients. Not often do you see a manager on the mats, but Ali isn't your typical manager. Yeah, he isn't really your typical manager, is he? Doesn't seem like he really started doing anything in this business until, well, he just kind of fell into it. Absolutely ridiculous. But Ali isn't your typical manager like I just read. He can relate to his clients on a different level. You know how he can relate to them? He can get them all sorts of favorable matchups. He can get them all sorts of perks from the UFC because he's doing work for the UFC, in my opinion. It just all fits together perfectly. Of course, I'm just playing a character. This is all alleged, but come on. We can read between the lines. MMA fans for years have suspected this guy is basically just working for the UFC and willing to fuck over his fighters when he sees that he can get a leg up, which has given Dominance MMA a family-like culture. Oh yeah, they're a family because they're all part of the same privileged group. You see here, Khabib, Henry Cejudo, Kamaru Usman, Kayla Harrison, Justin Gaethje, Cody Garbrandt, lots of big-time MMA fighters, lots of big-time characters who have gotten some favorable matchups, who have stuck around in the rankings, even though they do not deserve to be there whatsoever. Of course, there's great fighters like Islam Makhachev, but Kelvin Gastelum still kicking around, Gilbert Burns still kicking around at this age, at this ranking, such highly ranked. Frankie Udgar, the legend, of course. But Justin Gaethje, they're calling for a title shot. Justin Gaethje's going to retire if he doesn't get a title shot. Of course, Ali Abdelaziz would push his guys to be sitting in that sort of position. Kamaru Usman sitting right outside the top 5, in my opinion, or he should be. He's calling for a title shot, saying that he's going to have 2 more fights. He does not and will not get that chance, because that just will not happen, should not happen. But Ali Abdelaziz, because he basically works for the UFC up to this point, we all know what's going to happen. Kamaru's going to get all the favorable matchups. Justin Gaethje's likely going to get that Ilia Topuria title shot when he absolutely does not deserve it. Not whatsoever. You go on a 1-fight win streak, you don't get a title shot. That's not how this works, Kamaru. That's not how this works, Justin. We don't run that way. But yet, somehow the UFC and Ali Abdelaziz, I mean, he's managing his fighters' accounts. He's running all their social medias. He's taking advantage of them. This guy is an absolute sleazeball, slimy, wormy character. Of course, he's got all that corruption, the ties to, you know, some certain events early 2000s. We can get into that, but he's not the only one. There's a guy out there who's been taking a lot of flack out there from some of the online pundits, some of the fellow MMA Twitter users. Tiki Gosen, manager of Arsenal Sports Agency, best friends with Dana White. Yeah, that's right. These guys are tied at the hip. Ali Abdelaziz, Dana White, tied at the hip. These guys are friends. They're in bed together, maybe literally, maybe just figuratively. But you look at his clients, there's guys sitting on here. Of course, Chael Sonnen's going to defend Rajah Jackson a couple months ago. I mean, shout out to Rampage Jackson, Czech Congo. He's still kicking around at his age. TJ Dillashaw is able to get injured and still fight. Brian Ortega, Paulo Costa, Aljamain Sterling, Tracy Cortez. How is she getting such highly ranked fights, you might wonder? Oh my goodness, Yair Rodriguez used to be on here. Waldo Cortez Acosta this past weekend, they stopped a fight, restarted it. Ultimately, he got the justice he deserved, Waldo himself, but not Tiki, not the manager who he's getting paid for also getting a win there. Yeah, I think Tiki might have had something to do with that stoppage and then restarted that fight. Maybe I'm crazy. Call me crazy. Maybe it's just a conspiracy theory. But guys that have been sitting at the top of these rankings, Mackenzie Dern, 4-4 in her last 8 fights, get a title shot, and then she wins it, of course. No doubt there. But Paulo Costa, Brian Ortega, Yair Rodriguez, guys like that are sitting at the top of the rankings, doing absolutely nothing, staying so inactive that you can't keep up and pay attention to when exactly they're going to be fighting next. It's all this crazy mishmash of stuff, but the problem is Ali Abdelaziz has now been ordered by the courts to turn in documents. You guys let me know what you think about this. This is getting freaking crazy out there. All this stuff, all this corruption may be coming to a head. We might finally get some decent legislature in this sport. It may not be a joke any longer. This may actually move into the realm of being a legitimate sport, but I doubt that will ever happen. This sport is just not legitimate enough for any casual fans to truly enjoy. It's hard to get into. It's hard to break into as a hardcore, and that's just my opinion. And it's because of stuff like this and the corruption and the collusion that UFC, Ali Abdelaziz, they've got the betting scandal going on with Isaac Dogarian, James Krause. This could all be tied into the same sort of thing. We're all left wondering and waiting what's next for this. The days and weeks will roll on, and we'll find out more about this very, very soon. Again, let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. Like, share, comment, subscribe, do the whole thing, because I'll be sending this out after the live stream, but I'll see you next time. Oh boy. Not Jason Herzog, Matua says. Matua says not Jason Herzog. A lot of technicians on this card. Cavalcante is a slick striker. I'm trying to muster some hate for this card, but I can't. This card seems great. More like Al-Qaeda Abdelaziz. What? Yeah, that's right. You heard me. You heard me, Matua. I don't know. I don't care about the ladies' fights. I mean, that one's pretty highly ranked. And then Tisha Torres, Denise Gomes. I mean, she fights like an absolute stud in there, quite literally. I don't hate it so much. Of course, the Apex to me serves a purpose. If it serves its purpose, totally fine with it. If this is going to be your weekly standard for a card, it's pretty dog shit. But in terms of an Apex card, it's not that bad. If we want to have fights every week, we're going to have to deal with some Apex cards. I'm okay with that as long as it serves its purpose. It filters out some of the shitty fighters. It filters out some of the old people. Filters out some of the young guys that are not ready. I'm okay with that. I can live with that. I just don't want this to become some kind of standard that the UFC falls to. Their fight nights need to be stacked. Their pay-per-views need to be loaded with ranked talent. This is absolutely okay with me. Yanez Quinones low-key, though, should be co-main event if you had my personal opinion in there. So, what else we got? Matua's still out there lurking in the chat. Let me know what's going on. We're going to run up another one because we got more from Ali Abdelaziz. More from Ali Abdelaziz. More crazy shit. More stuff. I'm going to leave that there. We're going to pot that up a little bit. Check 1, 2. Boom, boom, boom. We're ready to roll. Ready to roll. All right, boys. We're getting into another one. Gonna do another one. We got more Ali Abdelaziz coming down the pipe for you. MMA manager Ali Abdelaziz has recently come under fire for some of the potential collusion he has gotten into with the UFC, the corruption. Is he being paid by the UFC? Is he a UFC employee, or is he really the manager of Team Khabib, Islam Makhachev, Kamaru Usman, Justin Gaethje, all the likes of these guys, Kayla Harrison as well? Well, Team Khabib has arrived in the United States, and they have taken a picture with the famous Rocky Balboa picture in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. There they all are. There's Chanko, there's Usman, there's Umar. I swore that was Muhammad Makhachev, but that's not him. Team Khabib is all there. Islam Makhachev sitting atop the tower there. But Ali Abdelaziz has now gone on and done an interview, and he's speaking a lot about some of his guys. Some controversial stuff being said here because it absolutely does not make any sense. If he gets jumped by Patty, he'll retire and never fight in the UFC again. That is Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje said he has a few more fights left. Why not fight Dan Hooker in an all-out, all-action war? That is what the fans have been clamoring for. Justin Gaethje versus Dan Hooker. Then maybe he can get himself a title shot. But one win does not get you a title shot. Paddy Pimblett, I don't know if Michael Chandler beating Michael Chandler actually gets you a deserved title shot either. But I think that Arman Tsarukyan or Dan Hooker could likely get it if they're holding Ilia Topuria off for that long. But some people are a fan of the Justin Gaethje matchup just because he's an all-action fighter. You know he comes to bang. I can get over that. I can accept that. But Ali Abdelaziz, he's doing this interview, Submission Radio. Shout out to Submission Radio. He says that the matchups at featherweight could be Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez #2 and Movsar versus Lerone Murphy, even though Lerone Murphy's coming off that huge spinning elbow KO of Aaron Pico, rightfully deserves that title shot because he showed up in the right moment, took it on late notice, did everything for the company, saved the company. Hopefully they repay him. Hopefully Ali's dead wrong here, but you guys take a listen. Let's see what he's got to say.
Longer going to be Lon Murphy. I'm hearing it's going to be maybe Diego Lopez, but then of course we got Mosa, right? People are saying they want to see Mosa get this title shot. Is he in talks of getting this title shot from what you're...
I think Lopez, Mufsar have an opportunity to fight Pico and he got injured. I would like to see Liam Murphy fight Mufsar, and I would like to see Diego Lopez fight Alexander Volkanovski. I think
it sounds like it's just what he likes. It's not actually what's going to happen. It's just what he likes. What Ali likes is what the UFC wants because, of course, again, we've been talking about how this guy is probably a UFC employee. Let's all be honest here. The stars are aligning, and we may just get this all exposed, all revealed very soon. We talked about this in another video not too long ago. But Ali Abdelaziz also says that Arman Tsarukyan going to beat the absolute living shit out of Dan Hooker. Listen for yourselves.
Hey, Dan Hooker fighting Arman. That's pretty cool, right? At least someone's fighting Arman. No one wanted to fight him. They're fighting in November. I think Arman got to beat the shit out of Dan Hooker. Bad. I do. I think. Hey, come on, Islam. I think Islam's become a Dan Hooker fan. I saw on Twitter. I think he's.
I'm telling you.
No?
I'm telling you. I think Arman is gonna beat the shit out of Dan Hooker. My opinion.
Again, more his opinions, but this is being rolled out there like it's some factual statement. Like, this is what's going to happen, right? No. Mister, I've never really competed in any major sport. Even though it's on my record, even though I allegedly did all that stuff, I've never actually done anything. You've never actually seen me do anything. Ali doesn't know shit. Dan Hooker could likely win this fight, but I don't think so. I think Arman's going to do it. I do agree with Ali. Let's be honest here. I'll back up, turn away from the bias a little bit. I'll be slightly less critical here. I do agree. Dan Hooker likely not going to come out the victor here, but he stood his ground against Gamrot, and Arman Sarukian went toe-to-toe with Gamrot a couple years ago. We'll see. I think Arman has improved more than Gamrot has, so I do think Arman's going to get the win here, but let's stop rolling this out like this guy's any kind of significant figure. I mean, the dude's just an absolute joke at this point. I mean, you hear it here. Just listen for yourselves. I won't even speak on this one. You guys just let me know. Does this sound like a stupid fool or somebody who's really unbiased and a true participant in this world of Bushido mixed martial arts? I don't think so.
You know, Ankalaev did not train for almost 40 days for this fight. He come from Dagestan, was a messed up ribs, and he sparred 3 times. Every time we have to stop the sparring, UFC know about it. He was getting injection, he was getting cortisone, he was getting stem cell. The only thing he did for 40 days, run, jump rope, and hit mitts, and do conditioning. He barely did any sparring. He did 0 wrestling, 0 grappling. And, you know, I hope
Okay, so let's say this is really true. Let's say this is true, and Alex Pereira came into the first fight injured, and Ankalaev was severely injured in the second fight. Okay, so now you take 2 fights for what they were. So Alex was really injured in the first fight, and he went toe-to-toe with Magomed Ankalaev for 5 rounds. And then in the second fight, Magomed was injured, and Alex destroyed him in about, 60 to 80 seconds? I mean, come on here. Even if we want to give everybody their right due and it's actually truthful and factual, but we don't know this. We don't know what time that picture was taken. Of course, you saw that picture following the fight at UFC 20? And Ankalaev had these staples or something going on with his ribs, but that could have been after the fight because Alex Pereira was absolutely destroying his ribs. So that could have been after the fight. I mean, this could just be all this fabricated story. We don't know what to believe anymore. I like to believe that both guys were likely compromised heading into the first and second fight, but you look at the performances and, well, if one was injured in this one and it went this long and the other guy was injured and it went this long, well, who's the better guy? I'd probably say Alex Pereira is. I do like Magomed Ankalaev. I think he's probably one of the best light heavyweights to ever compete in the UFC, but the dude got steamrolled, and that's pretty much it. You can't go back. You can't turn it back. If he was really hurt that badly, you shouldn't have fought. Too bad. So sad. He's the champion. Make Alex Pereira wait if you have to. I mean, am I crazy? No, I don't think so. But Ali Abdelaziz, I think he's a little bit crazy here.
Spending some time around Islam. How is he looking going into this fight now that we're so close to his welterweight debut? What does a welterweight Islam Makhachev look like in the training room?
he's the best Islam. If Islam right now fought the old Islam, we beat him in the first round. He's big, he's strong, he's healthy, he's happy, he's not suffering cutting weight, and he's very, very strong. He make everyone feel like an amateur.
Spending some time.
Now that might be the only truthful statement he made in the course of this entire interview. In the course of the last couple of months, this might be the only truthful, factual statement. Islam looks good. He looks big. He looks healthy. He looks ready to go. He looks dangerous out there. And I'm excited to see what Islam Makhachev can do at 170. This is going to get freaking crazy because Islam Makhachev, Jack Della Maddalena may be a closer fight than many are predicting it to be. Jack Della Maddalena, very strict psycher. Very good in the grappling department as well, getting trained by Craig Jones, who helped prepare Volkanovski for the fight with Islam Makhachev. They know how to game plan for this guy. They're going to come ready. They're going to come prepared, and this is going to be an all-out war. Again, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. Should we be trusting Ali after all this stuff has come out and his connections with the UFC, potential employee of the UFC, that is? I don't know. Is he working for the UFC or is he working for his fighters? That's the question here. Because all he seems to ever do is cope and lie and tweet on social media and post on Instagram. Ali, might be time to go, my friend. Might be time to go. But even those that are the biggest liars amongst us can still sometimes tell the truth. Again, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. And I'll see you guys next time. Matua, you like the Justin fight. I'm not totally against it, only because it'll probably be pretty fun for a round. Why is there a statue of a fictional character? I guess because he means so much to the city of Philadelphia. Plus, it's iconic. The movie, it's iconic. They weren't supposed to even film there. It's cool. I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of funny when you think about it. It is pretty funny. Matua, you're absolutely correct. What else we got? We got more Valentina Shevchenko versus Ronda Rousey talk. Or at least in my opinion, that's what this is. I got to pull up one or two things before we get rolling, so let me know what's going on out there in the world. How is life going for everybody? Ariel Helwani popping out later. He's going to show up later. We'll see if he can actually drop some news. Unlike Ali, who literally just spouts his opinions and never breaks any news because he's always waiting for the UFC and doing the UFC's bidding. What are we trying to look for? I need Ronda Rousey, that's right. Bada bing, bada boom. Oh. Come back. There we go. All right, we're up and running. We're still alive. But all the lurkers, members out there, let me know what's going on. Don't let me forget about you. Just because I'm ranting and raving doesn't mean you don't exist. I value you. You're here. You're important to me. These tabs are disappearing. Come back. Come back. What are we thinking about this weekend's fights? What are we thinking about the One Championship card as well? There's stuff going on with that. They recently released the entire card. One Championship did. It's looking pretty decent. These cards haven't been great, but we're looking pretty decent. We're almost ready to rock and roll. About to jump in and start another one, so get your comments in. Get your comments in now. Before I start running my mouth. All right. That'll do it. On to the next. On to the next. Matua's been active. Getting us hyped up in the chat. But yeah, why is there a Rocky Balboa statue in Philly? Fictional character, statue of a fictional character. I do find that funny now that I think about it. I mean, it's iconic, it's cool. But like, why? Why exactly? Anyway. Last week, former UFC world champion Ronda Rousey, one of the biggest female MMA stars the world has ever seen, went on the Bert Kreischer show, yeah, Bert Kreischer of all people, for some reason, and decided to shit all over Joe Rogan and MMA fans alike. She said this in an interview with Bert Kreischer. Take a listen for yourself. Of course, Joe Rogan, the commentator for the UFC, only seems to do the pay-per-views. This guy is falling off the wagon a bit, whether you agree with him or disagree with him politically, or you disagree or agree with him on his takes in the UFC. He is a largely impactful figure. He is a dedicated mixed martial artist. He's never officially fought in MMA or the UFC, but he has competed in Taekwondo, and Ronda Rousey's called everything into question as it surrounds Joe Rogan.
Is there a price point that would get you back in the octagon?
I mean, I have everything I want. There's nothing that would really change my life.
Let's do price points on this.
Okay, $1 billion.
$150 million.
$1 billion.
$350 million.
Billion.
You're just fighting Bert Kreischer.
All right. I will beat the shit out of you in your backyard for this house.
How long do I get to train? I was just talking to Joe on the walk over. How long for me to train to beat Ronda? That'll never happen.
He wouldn't know. He's not an expert. He's a fan with an audience.
She has got to be... You know how crazy it is to be more unlikable than this dude who's just wheezing and wailing in front of the microphone at everything that is, I don't even know. He's not a co-host. He's interviewing Ronda Rousey, and then he reacts like this. She's trying to talk, blah, blah, blah. You know how hard it is to be more dislikable than that? You say shit like that, you shrug your shoulders like that, you give these small smirking remarks, you shit on Khabib, you shit on all the MMA fans, you shit all over Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan catching flack here. Now, I don't fully disagree with it in the sense, but he's a dude. He's a pretty muscular dude. He's in pretty good shape. Yeah, he's older. Ronda Rousey did actually fight in MMA. Would she maybe beat him up? Probably. I mean, I don't know. She's a good athlete. Joe Rogan, of course, on the bad side of 50. I mean, who knows? But the thing is here, Valentina Shevchenko is getting involved in this whole thing. She says, I see Joe Rogan as a huge expert of martial arts. Noble man, hunter, sportsman, and good example for the youth. I think that guess what? These two ladies are starting some beef, or Valentina Shevchenko is trying to drum up some beef with Ronda Rousey, because win or lose at MSG at UFC 322, Valentina wants to fight Ronda Rousey at the White House card. That is the rumor floating around, that Ronda Rousey, she's been getting back in the training room, she's been getting back to sparring, the footwork, the boxing looks horrendous as always. But could she be making a comeback to the UFC? That's been the question for the last couple of weeks and a couple of months. And Valentina Shevchenko saying something like that, antagonizing Ronda after her recent comments against Joe Rogan. I mean, Valentina's trying to garner some fan appeal and some acclaim from the fans, but I don't know if this will do it. But I feel like sneakily she is trying to get that White House fight put together, win or lose, to Zhang Wei Li in the middle of November. We'll have to wait and see. This one could get interesting, could get nasty, could be a little bit catty even. We'll have to see. Again, you guys let me know in the comments down below. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Do the whole thing because we want to get this out there. This is very interesting, and nobody seems to be talking about this. It just seems to be taking it at face value. Maybe that's all it's worth. Maybe I'm just being a conspiracy theorist here, but that's okay because I will see you guys in the next one. We're going to have some more fun as the weeks and the days and the months roll by, because this White House card, I'm not so sure if it will ever happen, but the speculation surrounding it is massive and creates a lot of good content for everyone involved. How we liking that one, boys? We want to keep talking about Ronda and Valentina Shevchenko? I don't think so. I think we'd rather talk about some real fights, some real news, some real big-time shit. Not some fake, made-up controversy. No, I don't think so. I think we want to talk about Herb Dean and these alleged rule changes that could be coming down from above. California State Athletic Commission, Josh Thompson's getting involved, of the Weighing In podcast. Getting pretty wild. We'll see. We'll see what happens here. We'll see what begins to roll out over the next couple of days. Of course, there's meetings. Hopefully some stuff comes out this week about this alleged meeting that's happening. But before that, we got more to discuss. So we're starting it. We're running it up. Hope everybody's still hanging in there. Kind of just yapping today. It's a Monday. It's a Monday. MMA referee Herb Dean has officially confirmed that there'll be a meeting of the minds on November 4th to discuss some new rules and some changes for the rules surrounding eye pokes after the following two events. Fuck. That was awful. That was awful, boys. Terrible, terrible job there. Let's run that back. Let's run that back. Let's run that back. Matu, if you're still hanging in there, apologies, brother. But we'll start this one back. We'll run it back. So referee Herb Dean has now confirmed that there will be an official meeting of the minds on November 4th to discuss potential rule changes for eye pokes following the controversial ending of the Tom Aspinall fight versus Cyril Gane, not to be followed up in any better way than by Waldo Cortez Acosta and Ante Delia. That's two big heavyweights fights occurring in the last 2 weeks that have been caught, have some problems, had some issues involving eye pokes, that is. So we keep moving right along. Herb Dean says in an interview with Helen Yee that, yeah, there absolutely will be changes getting made, but the meeting happens November 4th. That's tomorrow. It's coming soon. I cannot wait to see what happens here. Here he is speaking to Helen Yee. Let's listen to what Herb Dean had to say about all this.
We can't read people's mind, you know what I mean? There's been fighters who I've refereed, and we're all different people in there. We're all doing different things. And there's some people who are like, hey, they're good people, and they're not doing fouls on purpose. Then there's a lot of guys, and a lot of them who I've talked to after they stopped fighting, they say, well, every groin kick that I ever did was intentional. And these are guys who have, once they've retired, they're giving me, oh yeah, that fight when you refereed me, that was intentional when that happened. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, we can't read people's mind. You know what I mean?
Oh my goodness. Former fighters, current fighters have said this to Herb Dean, the referee himself. I thought we were going to talk about a meeting we're having. No. Herb Dean just exposed every single dirty fighter in the UFC. Did he name them? No. But we can assume that there are some guys currently in the UFC that are doing things just like this because they know they can get away with it without the right kind of penalty. These fouls need to be penalized. We cannot let this continue. The sport is a joke. Has it ever been legitimate? Probably not. Is that a shocking revelation for anybody? Maybe not. But here's Herb Dean. This is what he had to say, right? That's all him, right? There are good people. They're not doing fouls on purpose, right? We all know this. Bushido Code, MMA. But there are some guys that are doing it on purpose. So, again, enough people are getting fed up with the eye poke situation that there's something needed to be done. There's going to be a meeting where we go over all of that. Definitely something's going to happen. Enough people are upset. Enough of the right people are upset. Some of the people have been talking. It's got enough momentum. Early next week, I think there's going to be a conversation happening on the 4th of November, of course, on the Weighing In podcast with Josh Thompson. He spoke about this a little bit. He said that they're going to be working towards getting something done early 2026. The rule changes may come into effect, and fighters may be losing a lot of points. They may be having to fight from behind, but guess what? For us, the fans, that may lead to some seriously fun fights. Instead of these stagnating fights where points or eye pokes are happening, fights are being stagnated because somebody's injured because of a foul that was never actually punished, we might actually be getting some finishes on either side of the equation. So again, let me know what you guys think about all this. This is getting pretty crazy. Some actual rule changes might be happening, might be coming into effect. Hopefully Herb Dean and others can get this off the floor. Andy Foster of the California State Athletic Commission, I know he's in on this. Josh Thompson is big on this. He's got a decent platform. Herb Dean, one of the biggest and most recognizable UFC and MMA referees out there. Maybe finally we can get some stuff done because Big John has left that Weighing In podcast, of course. He's moved on to bigger and better things, that is refereeing again. So maybe with him getting back involved, he's going to be in the weeds. Maybe somebody like that who helped create the rules can finally legitimize this sport in the way that it deserves to be, because this sport is better than any other out there. There's no question there. The exhilaration, the adrenaline that pumps through you as a fan when somebody gets a knockout or a finish or a comeback win, it's unlike anything else. And these stupid rules and the lack of penalties for these fouls, it's been absolutely egregious to watch, especially over the last 2 weeks. Oh, Matua. Used to love Ronda. Yeah, dude, I was hyped when Ronda was hanging around, right? She was doing her thing, taking out everybody left, right, and center. Bert Kreischer might be able to rock her shit. I mean, he's a big fucking dude. She shit on Khabib. Oh yeah, Matua, shit all over Khabib. Said that Khabib is only liked because he's undefeated. That's the only reason that he's respected, is because he's undefeated. She said that every fighter who lost is basically kicked to the curb by the UFC fans. Absolute insanity. Guys like Dustin Poirier, Chuck Liddell, Rampage Jackson. I lost my momentum there. She thinks that all those guys are hated by the fans, blah, blah, blah. If you have a loss, you stink. If you're undefeated, you're great. Now, the irony here is that she was a sore loser. She lost, she got beaten up, and then she walked away. Didn't give the fans any kind of credit, didn't say anything to the fans. We just want consistency. Exactly, Matua, exactly. We just want consistency. We all want consistency. all of my fighters to win. I mean, of course you want your favorites to win, but Charles Oliveira's got a lot of losses. Max Holloway's got a number of losses. Alex Volkanovski's got losses. Islam Makhachev even has a loss. I mean, come on. It's just clickbait, rage bait bullshit from a butthurt, old, washed up Ronda Rousey. I had Waldo in the last card, so that turned out perfectly. Yeah, I mean, luckily, again, he came away with the win here, Matua. And I know I'm getting to your chat late. Maybe you rewinded the whole thing, restarted it from before. But luckily, very, very luckily for Waldo, he was the only winner on the night. Everybody else looked terrible. Ante, of course, made the poke. He said leading up to it that I've never poked anybody in my life, and then he pokes him a couple of days later. The commission, the referees, all involved, they couldn't get their shit together. They gave the guy basically 8 minutes to continue, 8 minutes break, even though it should have been 5. MMA Referee Summit 2025. I mean, they should be doing this every single year, every single month. They should be talking about this week after week. I just think that people are overhyping all the talk that goes into this. There is no accountability, Matua. Everybody out there, no accountability for these referees, these officials, these judges, these commission members. They're all sitting there, and anytime any shit goes down, they never know how to handle it properly. If you listen to referees talk, especially on that weighing in podcast, and listen, I'm no big fan of it anymore. I think it's shit right now. I think it's not that interesting. But Big John would tell some great stories on there, give us some insights from a referee's perspective, and you would learn about what needs to be officiated in the right way. Now, he's not perfect either. I think that he suffers a bit from a large ego himself. But I will say that a lot of the stuff that he said, when he said it at certain times, like if a referee comes in and stops a fight, waves his hands, the fight's off, you can't restart it. It's been stopped. It could be a no contest, but we can't restart the fight. So I don't know. I mean, those things can be changed. I'm just reading it by the letter of the law. That fight shouldn't have been restarted. I'm glad that Waldo overcame, got the win there. And people are ragging on Tom Aspinall for being a pussy. Look at what Waldo did. I mean, Waldo knew that he had to continue because he had been stopped via TKO. He knew that this was a second chance at life. He had been resurrected. He had to do this. He had to go out there and try to get something done because otherwise it'd be a no contest or even a loss on the record. Take the point for all infractions. I'm with you. Take all the points you can. Take 2 points. They didn't even take a point from Ante. He poked him and then beat up on him for 10 seconds, and they didn't even take a point. Absolutely absurd. I am with you all the way, Matua. But the next big fight on the horizon is going to be for the BMF belt. It's going to be Max Holloway versus Charles Oliveira. They both want the fight. I'm trying to manifest it right now, right here in front of you today. But Max Holloway and Charles Oliveira have now done consecutive interviews in just a couple days apart saying that they want that fight. The goal is to fight the BMF against Holloway, and if I'm going to win the title, I want the undisputed title fight after the BMF belt. Here's Charles Oliveira last night at the Anthony Pettis Fight Club, I don't know what it's called. Anyway, he was doing an interview in the cage, speaking to the ring announcers, to the crowd. This is what he had to say, of course, Brazilian to English translation here. Let's take a listen.
How soon are you going to have UFC Gold wrapped around your waist once again?
Ele falou, enquanto em breve você acha que você vai ter o cinturão do UFC de volta na sua cintura?
Cara, eu tô trabalhando nisso, né? Esse é meu sonho de novo. Eu acho que eu vou ter a oportunidade de lutar agora pelo BMF e aí eu acho que eu passando pelo Max, eu acho que eu sou o próximo desafiante de novo.
He say, my goal now is fight for the BMF against Holloway. And after I won that title, I'm gonna fight for the UFC undisputed title again.
Ladies and gentlemen, give a hand one more time. The champion has a name, Charles the Bronx Oliveira.
I love.
How soon
Charles wants
are you going to have UFC
Max
Gold
wants
wrapped?
the fight. This isn't the only mention of this. Max Holloway also interested in getting this fight put together. Absolutely no doubt in my mind this will be the next fight. It's the only one that makes sense. It's the only fight to make It's the only chance we have to get this epic, epic fight. The rematch, these guys are salty. They don't seem to like each other for whatever reason. Max Holloway seems to think that Charles faked that thoracic injury in the throat. Whatever, that aside, this needs to happen right now. They're both on board. Listen, even Max, who doesn't pay attention to a lot of this stuff, he also wants in on the action.
And I know that you watched Charles Oliveira's last fight and, kind of had a reaction to that. Were you streaming when you watched that, actually? Or you streamed like right after, right? So you were kind of on top of that.
Yeah, my stream started right after. I mean, that's the fight I want, That's the fight I want. That's a fight a lot of people want to see. We have history. A lot of, there's not too much people right now that people are considering BMFs.
Right.
But on that very short list, on a very short list, Charles Oliveira is one of them. So, you telling me that I get to go out there and defend the BMF title again against a man who's very respected, who I have history with, and the first time that they talk about our fight, or he talks about it, is an injury, or so, and whatever. So let's go figure it out. Let's figure it out then. If you believe that the first one was because of the injury, and everybody's gonna come at me, and social media is gonna come at me after this, it's light, because at the end of the day, if you guys really did your research, nothing was ever found for an injury when he got released from.
Well, there was stuff found for an injury. Now, I like Max Holloway, love Max Holloway. Dude's a little stupid sometimes, I'm not going to lie to you. But anyway, that doesn't matter. There's obviously the fight to make. Would be incredible to see them two again. Run it back early 2026. We got the new Paramount deal. Let's put this in Hawaii. Let's put it on the top of a mountain, top of a volcano. Let's do the whole damn thing. Let's make a show out of this. This could be absolutely epic for the BMF title. This might be the only BMF belt that you could put at the top of a pay-per-view that actually deserves it. Two of the biggest stars in the UFC right now, regardless of wins, losses, whatever. These guys gonna run it. Huge event. Let's get it together. 2026. This is the time. There is no better time. They both want it. Every single person from every side of this thing wants in on the action. The BMF pelt doesn't matter. Is it legitimate? I don't think so. But regardless, whether the BMF belt is on the line or not, this fight needs to happen. Needs to be on a massive pay-per-view. This thing is going to sell all the numbers. In my opinion, this sells a lot more numbers than most of the UFC champions out there today. Hate. I hope John McCarthy makes it worse. Oh gosh. MMA is already on the brink of being destroyed, Matua. I don't want it to get worse. What are we thinking about Charles versus Max? Sick fight. It's the fight to make. It's the only fight at lightweight that you can reasonably line up right now. It's the only one that makes sense. It's the only one that just, the timelines are perfect. Max is coming off an injury. Charles Oliveira fought more recently, got a big win. It's right. The rankings, it all lines up. It's all perfect. There is no other fight to make. Make it, book it today. Might as well. You like the restarting of the fights. Now, again, I have no problem with it. It's just that, according to the rules, they shouldn't have done that. The Neil Magny situation, same thing. The judges, the referees, the commissions, they don't know how to handle it properly. They're technically not following the rules. They're not doing the right thing. Sakuraba's situation from UFC Japan was the wildest. I'm either stupid and I forget, or I don't actually know what you're talking about. It sounds familiar. I don't remember. Call me a casual. I feel like I've heard about this, but I don't know the full details of it. I don't remember. I'm sure Matua will let us know in the comments down below. Anybody out there call me a casual right now, go ahead. I'm not that old, so a lot of this stuff kind of falls by the wayside, gets forgotten by a child, of course. But we've got more to talk about. And Bo Nickel, maybe the most overhyped guy to ever come into the UFC is Bo Nickal, the wrestling phenom out of Penn State, came straight into the UFC, had a couple knockouts on the resume, and wilted under all the pressure to Ranier de Ridder. Absolutely disgraceful performance in that fight. But Bo Nickal is back, and guess what? He's been put in his place. He's been put on the prelims where he deserves to be. Now, this guy is a big wrestling star in the United States. This guy is super, super, super good at what he does in the wrestling department. Outside of that, is he a good fighter? I'm not so sure. The guy doesn't look like he likes to get punched in the face, and no, nothing against him, okay? Listen, I don't want to get punched in the face. I got a big nose. I don't want that thing getting flattened, okay? It hurts. It hurts to get punched in the face. We get it, Bo, but that doesn't make you a real UFC MMA fighter, okay? Now, all the criticism I'm heaping towards Bo Nickal, I have to admit, again, he's a huge wrestling superstar, so there's a lot of Midwesterners, there's a lot of middle-class people that hear Bo Nickal's name and run to the register. They get all the cash out the register and they pay it forward. They say, UFC, take my money. I want to see Bo Nickal on the UFC pay-per-view. But guess what? The fans, all the fans that actually care about the sport, that actually tune into the sport, that don't just show up for one Bo Nickal fight once a year because this guy needs to get more active if he wants to keep running his mouth like this, saying that he's going to run over Khamzat Chimaev like that. Yeah, we saw last week that he was going to be sitting right atop this huge, mega, monolithic pay-per-view. Leon Edwards, Carlos Prates has to play second fiddle to Rodolfo Vieira and Bo Nickal? Are you fucking kidding me? When we got Beneil Dariush and Benoit Saint-Denis waiting in the wings and 3 or 4 other fights on the card that could likely sit atop this one in the lineup? I mean, come on, you gotta be kidding me. But thank goodness the UFC caved to all the pressure. And yeah, that's right. Sean Brady, Michael Morales, Leon Edwards, Carlos Prates, and Beneil Dariush and Benoit Saint-Denis in their rightful place. Thank goodness, because outside of that, I would be very disappointed. I'd be very pissed off. And my $85 going towards this would not be worth the same because Bo Nickal, I can't stand this guy. Cannot stand him. I get that he's got some mass appeal to the wrestling fans, to the white, trucker hat wearing dads out there. But aside from that, nobody fucking cares because he clearly doesn't like to get punched in the face. Now, hopefully he goes out there and proves me wrong. Hopefully we can get a good prospect in the middleweight division. But it's absolutely absurd to put Bo Nickal on these pay-per-views, in my opinion. I don't care if he drives pay-per-view numbers. Sean O'Malley is a fun fighter to watch. People think that he's overhyped and that all the kids just love Sean O'Malley. Now, the UFC pushes him too hard, in my opinion, but at least he's a fun fighter to watch. He's a sick fighter, gets knockouts, has fun fight style. Bo Nickal, not really a fun fight style, very slow. Has had a lot of lackluster decisions, had a lot of lackluster performances despite some of those early knockouts. Since those knockouts happened, not a lot happening on the Bo Nickal side of things. So good for the UFC, good for the fans. We won one today. We won the battle. We might not have won the war yet. We are winning. We are winning the battle. That it can be confirmed today because Bo Nickal has been sent back to the fucking prelims. Go sit down where you belong on the fucking bench, Bo Nickal. We don't need to see you here anymore. Get the fuck out of here, brother. Okay, what's going on? BMF is such a dumb name. Intercontinental Champ would be cool. Or Pan Am Champ. I hate Max Holloway's room. Yeah, his shoes are stupid. Shoes are stupid. Who the fuck knots up their curtains like that? I gotta go look at that again. Hold on. What are we talking about? Are we looking at the background that hard? I don't get the curtains. I guess that's, you tie them up that way to let the light in and then you let them go. But all the shoes, the toys, he's like a giant child. He's like a giant child. Max Holloway. He's a hoarder. Damn, he got a Tyson fan. Redesign the BMF belt to put that dumb shit in the garbage and just hand out 6-foot trophies. Back to the Pride days, says Matua. We are tired of this bullshit. We are tired of the bullshit. All right, now we get to the fun part. Anybody lurking, watching live, let me know what we think about this story right here. You can read it for yourself real quick, and then I'll comment myself. So, of course, a couple weeks ago, Tom Aspinall, his social media team, posted a video, a vlog from Fight Week in which Daniel Cormier was caught on the mic saying that Jailton Almeida and other fighters in the heavyweight division essentially suck at fighting. This was picked up on a hot mic, posted out on social media, ran all over the place, and Tom Aspinall's taking all the blame from it. Kamaru Usman jumping on the train. When a fighter talks to you personally or gives you something personal, that's just personal. It doesn't have to be broadcasted everywhere. Tom Aspinall, as a matter of fact, does not run his own social media page. Somebody runs his social media page. Somebody films all these videos, edits them up, and posts them out there. Tom Aspinall is clearly not in charge of this. Does not have the time to waste doing silly stuff like that, but he knows that he has to promote himself and his personal brand so that he can make more money, potentially after fighting, or just push for bigger and better fights as things and time progress. Daniel Cormier made the mistake of saying this in front of the cameras. There were cameras, whether off or on, there were cameras in the room. He shouldn't have done this. He shouldn't have said this. Now, do I agree with them posting this? I don't agree that they should have posted this, so I'm not fully blaming DC Kamaru for this. But somebody like DC, somebody like Kamaru, you get picked up on a hot mic, it's fair play, man. You got to guard yourself a little more carefully. Go to the corner of the room and say this to him out of the camera's view, anything like that. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm crazy. But in my opinion, you shouldn't be saying stuff like this. If you want to text this to him in a private DM, or when there's no mics around, there's no cameras around, it's media day. There's literally 10,000 cameras sitting around you when you're saying this stuff. I just think this is absolutely foolish by Daniel Cormier. Sean Moody, Manuel Ram 2005. What the fuck kind of name is that? Thank you for being here, brother. Appreciate you. Bo Nickel in the prelims. How dare they? I mean, that's the only place he belongs. Sakuraba fought Conan in UFC Japan. Sakuraba was getting beat up, dropped down for a takedown. McCarthy called the fight, said it was a KO. This sounds familiar to me. I'll have to go look into it. Sakuraba said, fuck you, got on the mic and said, run it back now. They told Conan, wait a minute, to get back in the cage, and Sakuraba armbarred the shit out of Conan. It was awesome. See, that's what I mean. Like, that shouldn't have happened, but they let it happen. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's a little crazy. That's why it's a bit wild. So, again, let me know what you guys think about this whole DC, Tom Aspinall shit going back and forth. Yuri Prohaska says that cutting down to 205 isn't that difficult for me, but going down to 185 would be really something. I'm confident I can make it. I don't know, Yuri. He looks massive at light heavyweight. I don't know how that cut is easy for him. Dude's insane. Dude is insane if that's really what's happening. I can't believe that he could actually make 185. Now, Alex Pereira was doing it, but Yuri Prohaska's getting older. Not much is going on with Big Ram 2005. You know what? Not much is going on here either. We're just talking, chatting, having some fun. Steve Garcia. Now, I was saying this the other night, that it just seems like Josh Emmett versus Steve Garcia is the fight to make. Instead of Garcia versus Zalal, I think I might be able to sell a little bit more with Emmett than I do against Zalal. I think so, too. I think that'd be interesting. But the beef that Steve Garcia's got going, Zalal and David Onama, who he just beat, were actually training together, so that could be interesting. Bo Nickel and Rodolfo should be featured prelim. I think it is the featured prelim now, so I'm with you on that. I think that makes sense. Here is Khalil Roundtree getting in some rounds with Superbon. Superbon, of course, will be returning to the ring, to the cage, wherever in Japan. One championship, 173, making a big return against Noiri. Of course, Khalil Roundtree coming off that loss to Yuri Prohaska. They're getting some work in Thailand. Shout out to those fellas, staying in shape, getting after it. Some good sparring footage there. Bo Nickel is Wrestling Dad's favorite wrestler of all time. That's absolutely true. Just said that a few minutes ago. We know that is absolutely, utterly the fact here. That's the reason why the UFC wants to push him to the mass audiences. That's why they want to push him to the white dads of America. They love that shit. Ante Delia has come out since that eye poke situation with Waldo Cortez Acosta. I ask for nothing more, just honesty. I don't run from defeat. I respect every opponent and every outcome, but not when the rules are broken and I'm robbed. Not in this way. The sport hasn't seen this yet. Now, of course, there is a bit of a language barrier here. I know people are going to jump on him for this, but again, the commission, the referees, the judges, they did not follow the letter of the law. They did not follow the rules of engagement. Ultimately, Waldo did come out the victor, as he should have. But the problem is, according to Ante and others and people who follow the rules and follow the laws, this shouldn't have happened. This should have been a no contest. Should have just run this back immediately. Sean O'Malley has great management. His aesthetic is a bit ghetto and trashy. I think so too. I agree with you. We just were talking about that a few minutes ago. 100%. This was kind of crazy. Of course, Dirty Boxing 4 happened last week, and Gable Steveson got a huge first-round knockout, 15-second knockout over a pretty bum-ass opponent. But for context, this is a 256-pound heavyweight jumping over the top rope with ease. Of course, we've seen this guy do backflips, has an Olympic gold medal. Teach that man a good jab, how to take a punch, and he will clear the UFC heavyweight division someday. I think so, too. But you guys let me know. That'll do it for me. That's pretty much all I have to talk about today. Pretty much it. Looks like Nina Drama's hanging out with Alex Pereira, Diego Lopez, and Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Not only is the UFC, man, I'm spitting all over the place. Not only is the UFC under fire for this betting stuff, of course, the NBA, NFL, all the others are getting suspiciously investigated, and something here, and I don't know a lot about football, but allegedly Joey Bosa on this play right here. I gotta share this, hold on. So Joey Bosa of the Buffalo Bills in blue, Chiefs are in red, I assume here, white and red. So it looks like at some point Joey Bosa there, like 97. Again, this isn't all just the UFC. And again, I don't know a lot about football. You guys can throw me under the bus here for this, but somebody's saying that this is rigged and that they wanted to give Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs a chance at the end of the game for this. There's 15 minutes left in the fourth. But Joey's like trying hard, right? He's right there. But we back it up. So he gets off the line. This is him. This is this guy. They're alleging that something's fishy here. So he jumps off the line. He busts through. And he just stops. He stops dead in his tracks. The problem is, the guy that he was getting defended by is not an eligible receiver. So I don't understand why he's, I'm going to look back and check to see if my guy's going to catch a pass. He's not an eligible receiver, so that's not going to happen. So why'd you do that? You know that. You're a defensive player. You're one of the best defensive players in the league, allegedly. Dude, sports betting is ruining sports itself. Destroying sports, in my opinion. And Isaac Dolgarian is just the latest victim of it all. Oops, let's go back to that. Yep, that is him. This is the guy in MMA right now that people are shitting on. Rightfully or unrightfully so. Hard to say right now. I think the UFC needs to be investigated, not just Isaac Dolgarian. It might not have been him in its entirety. If the UFC knew about this beforehand, a lot of the blame falls on them. Getting tough out there, getting rough out there. I just don't like it. I don't like it. I think there's too much. These betting companies and the promotions, the leagues, the sport leagues, they're all in bed with the betting leagues, the betting companies, whatever you want to call them. I don't know what they officially are titled, but these outlets, they're getting in bed with the betting companies. It's crazy. Why does he want to go to 185? I don't fucking know. Probably because he knows that he can't beat Pereira and he's willing to go down. He knows that he probably beats up a lot of the middleweights because he's huge. Hate Yuri. Hey, Yuri! Oh my goodness. He's such an awesome fighter, though. Such an awesome fighter, though, brother. Anyway, I know that Matua's hanging out. Seems to be a bit behind, but that's okay. Watching the entire thing from start to finish. Anybody out there lurking? Such an awesome fighter, though, brother. Hanging about. Let me know what's going on out there. It's a Monday. Anyway, we're chugging along. We're going to make it through. We got some video recorded. We got some stuff recorded. Maybe we'll pump that out there. Hopefully the audio isn't shit. I'm going to be pissed if it is. Zalal versus Steve Garcia is a fantastic matchup. I think so too. I think Zalal, because of the beef that they've got going on with David Onama, could be it. Or potentially Josh Emmett. I think those are the 2 fights you could make. I like Josh Emmett. I feel like that's the way the wind is blowing. But Yusuf Zalal, because David Onama and Zalal train together, have Garcia beat 2 guys from the same gym. That'd be pretty funny. Get some serious beef brewing. But I think that might be it for me, fellas. We got a lot left to look forward to this week. Some interesting stuff coming down the pipe. Maybe some breaking news later today about this whole Dogarian, the UFC, corruption, collusion. We don't know what's happening exactly. We're waiting to see from the real people involved, from the guys that are connected, for the real information, for the facts. But for now, it's either the UFC messing some shit up, or it's Isaac Dogarian actually fixing a fight and potentially could be getting in some serious trouble here. I hope not. I hope Yadier Devalle is actually that good. But I suspect there was something fishy going on, because when the sports books start returning money, those guys start returning money, there's something going on here. But anyway, you guys, thanks for topping in. Thanks to Sean, Matua. Appreciate you guys being here. Very cool, very fun to chat with you guys, as always. So, for me, that'll close it out. Ante Delia about to beat the shit out of the ref. Yeah, he was pissed, man. I feel bad for the guy because they basically let him celebrate, let him win, let him continue on with the celebrations. The camera crew, everybody came in the cage. I mean, both guys got fucked over in that situation. They truly did. They truly did. Even though he committed a foul, they both kind of got screwed there. The adrenaline dump after getting so excited, thinking that you won the fight, craziness. But much like that, this stream will come to an end. It's getting a little stuffy in here. Got to go take a break. But for now, we will end it there. You guys, have a good one. Stay tuned. We got some videos dropping, some replays if you don't want to rewatch the entire stream. Hopefully we can get some replays out of this thing, because last time I tried and the audio was absolutely dog shit. So again, let me know how the audio went. Comment afterwards. But we're going to stop this thing now. We're going to keep this thing chugging along. We're going to have some fun. Maybe we'll get this thing growing, get some things popping, because we need some common sense back in the world of MMA. I'm tired of seeing these rage-baiting, click-baiting pussies out there putting out some dumb shit. We need to assess the situation, move forward tactically, efficiently, and with some actual competency. That's all I need from you guys. Thank you guys for joining in. Everybody's welcome here, even the trolls. But we're going to address everything and everybody going forward. All the news, we're breaking it down each and every single day. Tomorrow, we got another thing coming. And for now, you guys have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I will jump on out of here and try to enjoy the rest of my day. Try to pump out a little bit more content and get back to work, making some money, doing some other things. Because this ain't it. This is just for fun. We're just having fun here. This ain't real. This is just a joke, right? It's all a character. We're all just in a facade. We're all just having fun together. Putting on some character. Saying some shit. Talking some shit. Trying to bring some controversy to the table, because, you know, we always got to be a little bit controversial. I keep saying I'm going to end this thing, but maybe now I'll actually end it. That'll do it for me. Again, you guys have a good one. Drop a share, comment, subscribe, do the whole thing. Like the stream. Let's get this thing pumping. Like I said, we want to have this fun. This is as much your show as it is mine. I have no ego here. We can chop it up and have fun with anybody and everybody, even the trolls, like I said. But that'll do it for me. Again, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your day. Pretty please, because that's all we need to do. Enjoy each and every day. Take advantage of what you have before you. That's my message leaving you today. Again, have a good one. Peace out.